Dear Pixie, you asked us. Recently I saw an interview podcast where a lady said that Mr. Tea Tree was not in fact a good guy and was part of the nefarious system. She cited things his parents had done and activities they were involved in, which did indeed seem pretty negative. She said he was a womanizer, he was groomed to be the top banana, and basically he was just another wing on the same bird as the negative structure. Is there any truth to this? Can the 9 comment? When you ask us if there is any truth to this, we can say that the picture built up by this individual, coming from their own truth based on the faculties they have at hand, then that holds truth within the picture or story that is the culmination of putting the puzzle pieces together, if you will. The issue here is not if there is truth within that methodology or resulting conclusion. The issue is within the premise upon which the methodology and conclusion are based, and indeed the faculties available to the one who walks the path of discovery as the seeker, of which you all are. The individual is to be commended for the diligence, time, focus, and intelligence utilized to present such a picture worthy of teaching to others. Each incarnated soul has their place in this, that which you may call the awakening that is great. The predominant faculty is logic, combined with intelligence and the ability to cross-reference through due diligence. This is a tried and tested method of discovery throughout many systems that has been utilized, somewhat successfully, for many years. We say somewhat successfully, for the logic combined with intelligence and due diligence only gives you half the overall picture at best, and oftentimes much less than that. The way to truth, finding the completion of that picture, is multidimensionality. So one combines the left hemisphere of the brain pathway with the right hemisphere of the brain pathway. Logic, intelligence, and due diligence are utilized alongside insight, intuition, clairvoyance, higher dimensional connection, dream work, synchronicity, and many more tools that lead to epiphany. This gives a multi-layered picture, and using the analogy of the jigsaw puzzle, you would be looking at multiple jigsaw puzzles atop one another, intersecting with one another, rather than one flat third-dimensional board. Then when due diligence and cross-referencing is engaged alongside intelligence and wisdom, with heart and not just head, if you will, you see the deeper multi-layered nuances and are far more likely to see the true picture. The right-brained activities are indeed subjective, as well as objective, and depending on the level of subjectivity involved, we cannot guarantee a fully truthful picture will be seen. If subjectivity overtakes logic and reason, then you lose the structure of the picture altogether. However, if you combine subjectivity in balance with objectivity, logic, and reason, and use the faculties of due diligence, intelligence, and wisdom, then your chances of finding a truthful resolution increase exponentially. Now, having said thus, we, as the expanded aspect of our conduit's right hemisphere of the brain, shall we say, we look again at your comments and clarify. Saying this one, the man of the hour, who uses the tea tree oil in abundance, saying he is not a good guy, is fully subjective and can be commented only upon by saying this may or may not be true, depending on a myriad of circumstance. Activities engaged within and groups belonging to and of this one's parents is part of the due diligence, but cannot be relied upon as a premise for conclusion. For the father and the mother may be rotten to the core, yet the daughter or the son may stand as the Christ. This is not in fact the case here, for there are elements of the negative and the Christ within this family tree. Yet none are rotten to the core, if you will. In the case of the mother, what you look at here is what appears to be the case upon the surface. Yet infiltrations as part of missions go back most far. That you call womanizer is again subjective, yet in the most traditional sense of the word, this one may indeed slot into that category. Yet that, in and of itself, is meaningless if truth of authenticity is your ultimate goal. Groomed to be top banana. From the higher dimensional algorithmic template, this is accurate. From deep within self, within this one, at times just so. But groomed from human outside influence, not so. Yet indeed, he was asked or invited to step up to the banana run by a faction that the researcher in question is viewing again with subjectivity. She is correct when she says black hat, white hat is illusion. Yet so is it an accurate metaphor when you utilize such to explain the dynamics within a large faction that was originally part of the nefarious structure, that then branched off into a new faction with new agendas and goals, drawing in new peoples of the most fair, most light, and of purity and goodness, to fill the nefarious cup of black goo, if you will, with the light of the Sun Christ. The faction thus created holds a focused goal, coming in from two different branches, two different origin points with an aligned agenda. This is that which you call white hat, and it is most understandable that the researcher, using logic and reason alone, would see it as nefarious, given the double-branched origins. This explains also the just another wing on the same bird metaphor. To expand upon this, shall we say, whilst this is true in origin, that bird, unusual or rare though this may be, grew a third wing, if you will, which, after much linear time, became an entirely new bird, the eagle, with Lady Justice riding atop her. Much has changed from the original seed points of darkness, and this is the way it is. For when the sins of the Father are known to the Son, and the Son chooses the path of light, the eagle rises in all its glory, and in turn becomes the phoenix. The teaching here is the search for truth in and of itself, not the tea tree oil, top banana, or white hat faction. The truth is presented to you and you alone, and this becomes your truth, and it shall present to itself evermore opportunity for growth for the seeker of the way. The fundamental issue here is what is right and what is wrong, who is good and who is bad. Yet this level of dualistic polarity no longer serves you, and all are part of the overall seed template for the rays of that polarity structure. Intention is that which creates. If your intention is to seek truth and deliver truth, then you shall do so, even if that may manifest in the most unexpected of ways. We are the white-winged collective consciousness of 9.
What is karma? Are there ways we can balance this and become karma-free? Is there a particular nutritional plan we should follow for ascension? Do we increase our karmic balance by eating certain foods? How can we utilize sex magic to work with karma and move through ascension? There are many lessons we can learn from the peoples of ancient Lemuria, a civilization that existed before our known history on planet Earth. As we move through an ascension process collectively, we move back into a new Lemuria, and we take with us all the knowledge we have accumulated since those times. In this transmission from the white-winged collective consciousness of 9, key codes are presented for cellular memory recall, linking the reader beyond Atlantis and into the harmonious frequencies of the first physical civilization on the Earth, Lemuria. The 9 respond to questions using the Lemurian way as a template. Key-coded responses trigger activations within the reader as they receive the wisdom codes, standing as rainbow warriors of Gaia, moving into abundance, alchemy, and Stargate ascension. This transmission is dear to my heart, and I'm so very pleased to announce my new book, Lessons from a Living Lemuria.